What's up, everybody? Welcome to the round 8 player ratings video here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. If you are new around here, welcome to the channel. Glad you could make it. Hopefully, you don't leave too soon because it's a much better experience after a win. But what I like to do in these videos is I like to go through every player that played and give a rating out of 10. And really, what that serves is as a conversation starter for how we felt each player went. It's these ratings are not official, they're not right, they're not wrong, it's just all about discussion. I'll start the conversation here, you'll finish the conversation in the comments, and we will go from there. Now, these ratings are always very much difficult after a game like the one in round 8. I mean, it was there's just so much to like about the way we played, but unfortunately, that's not good enough anymore, and that's not going to cut it because of how much we actually undid that great work. So we'll see how we go. We'll start with the way the teams were named. We'll go from there, and I look forward to seeing your feedback. Now, in the back line, we had Plowman, Jones, and Stocker. Plowman, I thought he was okay. I thought he was a little bit better than the week before. I noticed him in crucial contests with congestion, stay composed, get himself a little bit more... he was able to find some space for himself in congestion, which was actually quite impressive. I just found a way to just give him a pass mark for his game. Nothing too sensational, but at the same time, I don't think he failed miserably to the point where I don't think he did his job. So I think it was just a bare pass mark. Jones, initially I thought he was pretty good on the day. It wasn't until I got home and watched it all again that I realised that his starting positioning on a lot of the Josh Bruce goals was poor. I did notice it at the ground as well, and I think I just cut him some slack, maybe because it was his milestone game, I should say, and I think I went a little bit light on him in terms of my thinking on the day. But look, from a guy that's in the leadership group, I think he let himself down. I gave him a 4 for his game, and Josh Bruce kicking that many goals just makes me sick. It really does. Stocker, I noticed the game slow down a little bit more for him early in the piece. Certain possessions, there was one right in front of me on the wing where the ball was coming to him. He was getting pressured. He saw Levi and somebody else coming, and he was able to, in his mind, slow down and realise, hang on, I can't give this ball to Levi, but I have to wait it a little bit more. I think it might have been Jack Noons running onto it, I'm not sure, but there was that moment which made me realise he's thinking his way through contests. I think it was a good step. I still think he made some crucial errors with his kicking. There was obviously that one where he completely turns it over, which was disappointing. But I thought at times he was a little bit better than the week before, and I thought that the game started to come to him in terms of it slowing down, and there's some good signs there. I gave him a bare pass mark for his game. Obviously, I'm looking at everyone standing in the team, level of experience, what we expect in their role, and for that reason, I just gave him a bare pass mark. Next up is Sard, Wiedering, Doherty. Sard, I guess I'm judging him a little bit more harshly than the others. Perfect example, because he's a marquee recruit. That's what he was brought into the club for. He was a big signing for us and an important player for us. I thought he let himself down. I gave him a 4 for his game. I didn't think he was good enough. I think we need a lot more from him every game. I understand it's Ramadan. It's coming into that fourth week of it. It's about to end, and I understand there's challenges with that. But by the same token, he was just as good last week. So for that reason, I gave him a 4. Wiedering. Thought Wiedering was our best player on the day. I thought he was absolutely sensational. His one-on-one contest work. He wasn't just halving contests. He was winning them. I think he took 7 contested marks. The intercept marking ability was there. We've really unlocked him, and there is a bit of a conversation that I've brought up with him and Wiedering, with him and Jones. In that, I think we should look to free up Wiedering a little bit more. As opposed to Jones. Jones seems to be, a really good intercept player, third man up type player, whereas Wiedering is just as good at it, but he's better at one-on-one. I think sometimes we get caught with that because Wiedering's so good at the one-on-one that we allow Jones to be free. But for me, Wiedering's got to be a bit more free. The way he used the ball, the way he made decisions, the way he gained meterage, I think was really impressive, and he looks to have taken another step forward in his game and unlocked something else. So I loved it, gave him a 10. I know that's very hard to do in a performance like that, but I still thought Wiedering was absolutely outstanding. And his direct opponent, Norton, was a real non-factor for the majority of the day. So for that reason, Wieders gets a 10. Sam Doherty, I thought, I did criticise the leadership on the day. I actually thought that Sam Docherty was, he didn't need to be criticised for his leadership. I thought he did the right thing. I thought he used the ball very well. He's had 31 touches in the end. He's gone at 80 odd percent. Where are we here? 31 at 80 odd percent. He was just great. I thought in the key moments he was really good. He stood up. He gained over 700 meters, which is, again, that's him at his best. When he's running and creating energy, that's when he's at his best. And I thought he kept doing that all day. And for that reason, I gave him a 9, and I was really proud of him. Next up, Noons, Cripps, Cottrell, Jack Noons. I didn't find myself looking at his game and seeing anything significant, which, allows me to give him anything more than a 4. I thought he failed on the day. I didn't think he did his job. He gets a 4. Cripps, I gave him a 3. I went on a bit of a tirade last week, and I don't want to just keep, lashing into him. It's really hard to watch him play at the moment, as for me personally. I'm finding it really difficult to watch him play at the moment. As I said last week, it's the same principle. The ball is at contest. If he's not winning contests, he's not sprinting to the next one. He's just flat-footed. He does not look like a guy that's able to stay present in the moment, and he's not combative. He's not giving us those 3rd, 4th, 5th efforts. He's not willing himself on contests anymore. It's not him. That's not Patrick Cripps. I haven't seen. So hard. It's so hard. I don't think yelling and screaming about him is the answer. I mean, I've done that. He's got to have the serious conversations had, and we've got to be real. And that is unacceptable. The way he played yesterday as a captain of the Carlton Football Club. And now the conversation turns to, Bont, the conversation's over. Bont lifted. Bont did his thing. If you go back even just before the start of 2020 when they had the State of Origin game and, Cripps was right there. I remember that tackle on Bont. It was like a significant moment, him stamping his authority, that he was better than Bont. And this isn't about Cripps being better than Bont, but it just goes to show how far back away he is from that. And I don't know. Whatever's going on, whether it's personal life, relationship, contract, home status, whatever it is, it just looks like a guy that's just worn out. He looks emotionally exhausted. I'm sick and tired of people saying he's injured because he's not injured. He has himself said, if you cross the white line, once you cross the line, you're fit to play. These are words that came out of his mouth only a few weeks ago on the Dill Buckley podcast when he had Tom Mitchell and Lockie Neal and Matt Rowley. He said it himself. I'm really not enjoying people bringing up injuries now that players are performing poorly. If he's that injured to the point where that game is the output that we're getting, don't play. He's doing more harm to the team than good by playing. If he's physically injured and he's carrying something which is allowing him to have 15 possessions as the captain of the football club, then for me, don't play. He's too sore. If he's sore, fair enough. If he's sore and he's injured and it's physically really impairing, don't play. But he puts himself on the field. He tells me and you and the fans that once you cross the white line, you're fit to play. Therefore, you're judged accordingly. And I love him. I love Patrick. Don't get me wrong. But I can't watch the captain do this for much longer. I just can't. There needs to be some sort of a circuit breaker, contract situation. I'm sorry, but we're 2 months into 2021. We're 2 months into 2021. And our players don't know if their captain is committed to the club long term. Petrarca has re-signed. Clayton Oliver's re-signed. Toby Green's re-signed long term with their clubs. They've bought in. Completely bought in. Oh, but the club has to show Cripps that, it's going in the right direction for Cripps to sign. Fuck off. Are you committed or are you not committed? If you're not committed, no worries, mate. We need some closure here. We need some closure. That's how I see it. I need closure one way or another. Are we going to be moving forward with him or not? Because if we're not, we as a club need to move on. And we're being held to ransom for what? So we're being back. It's like we're being blackmailed. Make a decision one way or another. Get it done. If you are committed to this club, like all the language that you say you are, then sign the fucking deal and announce it. What are we waiting for? Some magical week? Come on. It's starting to really annoy me now. We're 2 months into the season. We're at round 9 this week. And I don't know whether our captain is moving forward with us or not. And nobody wants to talk about it. No, don't talk about it. Fuck. Come on. Are we committed? Have we all bought in or not? Question. Can somebody raise the question here? Cottrell, he was okay. He started okay. I feel like we need a bit more from our wingmen. I think we need more from them. He's a goer, he's a runner, works the wings very well. Defensive running is very good. I battled with this one. I initially had him as just a bare pass mark. I now have it as a 4. I might put it as a 4 and see what you guys think and go from there. Next up, Cunners, Levi, Jack Silvani. Cunners, he had 12 touches. Yes, 9 of them were score involvements. It was the real typical Dave Cunningham game after a couple of good ones. We need more from him. He needs to win the ball more. He attended more centre bounces this week, which was good to see. He's a class player. He really is. But 12 touches isn't going to get it done for a guy that we want to run through the midfield. It's just not. I struggled because even though it wasn't enough for me, I still gave him a pass mark because I thought of what he did do, he did pretty well. So gave him a pass mark, but definitely want to see more than 12 touches next to his name if he's going to be playing in the midfield. That's just the way I see it personally. So I'd be keen to get your thoughts on that. Casbolt, another one who I'm really struggling to watch, and another one who all of a sudden, it's been reported that he's getting fluid drained from his knee and he's getting injections to get up and he's playing sore and the excuses are coming out and we've got to feel sorry for him. It's hurting us watching. I am really struggling to watch him play, and I love Levi. I love his story. He's a Carlton family man at heart. All of that. I love him as a human being. I'm only commenting on him as a footballer and what I'm watching as a fan. It's real difficult to watch him play. The ball gets in his hand and I say to myself, please get rid of it. Please don't do anything too crazy. I mumble and I stumble and I cringe when he has the ball in his hand. I've lost complete faith in him. I think he looks like a guy that's lost something in his body. Is it confidence? I don't know. How much more better can we really expect him to get? How many more heights do we expect him to reach? Yes, there is the discussion about he helps us with structure and takes a defender and allows Harry to play free. Oh, is that really what's going on? Is that really why he's in the side? Are we that held to ransom by one player that we have to play him? Can we not play an extra tall or a mid-sized player like a Honey or whatever the case may be? Can we not play an extra smaller guy? I don't know. He's not impacting in the ruck when he is ruck relief. He's not a natural ruckman, and that's okay. So I'm not going to criticise him for not being a great ruckman, but he's not impacting there. He's not impacting as a forward. He's crashing packs. He ran through a guy. He did that, but I'm clutching at things here. I'm clutching at things. I'm just finding it really difficult to watch him play. I gave him a 3, but I do love him, and I get all that. I don't want to. I hate this. I hate watching the players and talking about them like this. This is not enjoyable for me. Jack Silvani, guy can't take a break. Fuck me. Honestly. He is literally the heart and soul of this team. I love him. I love Jack. I love the way he plays. Love what he brings to the club, to the side, what he endures. He was a little underdone. He's had missed quite a few weeks. Gets knocked out. Jack Noons runs through him. Oh my God. As soon as he hit the deck, I was watching from my seat. I knew straight away he was out cold. My heart sank. Looks like he's going to miss next week for sure. And who knows about the week after. I don't know what to say. It was hard to judge his game. I don't think he impacted as much before it happened anyway. I don't really know what to give him as a rating. I didn't think it was a pass mark. I've got a 4 down here. I could be harsh. Maybe I just leave it as a not applicable because he got injured and subbed out, but he had played the majority of the game. So either that or maybe I just give him a pass mark because he got injured. I don't really know. So maybe I'll leave that to you. You can tell me what you think the best course of action is here, but just devastating. I hope he gets a good run at it and some good luck comes his way on the health front. Eddie, Harry and Fogarty. Eddie, that was so good. On a day that was such a bad buzz, There were a few shining lights, and I thought Eddie was one of them. He's kicked 5 straight. I gave him a 10 for his game. That's really as good as Eddie can possibly... That is as good as what I could possibly ask from Eddie Betts, to be honest with you. And therefore, I gave him a 10. His first half was unbelievable. He really led us. And I think Michael Maloney mentioned it on the fan cams, that it's a bit of an indictment that Eddie Betts is, still our best player, kicking 5 and whatnot. And that might be the case, but you got to live in the moment. And on the day, Eddie was unbelievable. And I want to give him all the credit, because by the same token, I gave him all the criticism when he wasn't performing. It's a good coaching move by Teague. He stuck with him. He stuck fat. He believed in him. And one thing a coach needs to do is empower his players to believe. And I think he's done that with Eddie. He's backed him, and Eddie's rewarded him. And it's unfortunate that we've lost the game, because it doesn't allow us to really enjoy the performance. But gave him a 10 nevertheless. Harry Mackay. Harry, he's showing some things, isn't he? He's showing some things. He's kicked 4 goals. He's had 7 touches. He hasn't touched it a lot, but I tell you what, one thing Harry's now added to his game is when he's not completely dominating a game, he always finds a way to kick his 1 or 2, and that's a massive sign. He is really improved from last year. He really has. And if he wins the Coleman medal, even if he comes in the top 5 in the Coleman medal, it's massive for us. I was looking at hopefully getting 35 to 40 goals for him in 2021, only because I didn't believe he could make like a 30-goal quantum leap on last year. I just didn't think that was reasonable. He looks like he's on track for 50, 55, maybe even 60, the way he's playing. I'm proud of him. He works hard. He had a little bit of a weird moment at the end of the third where I thought he was a little cheeky and complacent. But he's now looking to have that strength in the upper body, that when he goes up for the mark and he really stretches out his hands, it looks like, one of those King brothers. It's just a really remarkable reach, and he's unstoppable when he gets the ball in that position. We just need to make sure that we set up, set up well to allow him to have the space, and 2, kick the ball to him in the right position. So I gave Harry an 8 for his game. I think that's right. I don't know I think 7's too low. I think 9's way too high, so I think 8 is just about right. Fogarty, he was okay. I thought he did his job. Probably needed to kick, or definitely needed to kick that one on the run where he missed. It was a crucial moment in the game, and he needed to kick it. I gave him a pass mark for his game. I gave him a 5, but far from our worst. Pitto, Walsh, and Williams. Pitto, I mentioned it last week. I leave games asking for more from him. We've got the base level of competitiveness now, but I don't want to be rewarding players in 2021 for being competitive. I find he doesn't have soft hands, and I found a lot of the time he was double tapping to space where Carlton players were not there. And it was frustrating me, and I thought even at times the Western Bulldogs ruckman, what's his name, Sweet, just grabbed it out of the ruck too many times. We got pulverized at centre stoppage. Centre clearances it was bad. It was just bad. And even David Teague mentioned it. He even mentioned about Sweet pulling it out of the ruck in his press conference. So I thought Pitto did not do his job, and for that reason I gave him a 4. Walsh battled all day, kept going. Wasn't as prolific as what he has been over the last month, but shit, he still found a way to get his job done. I gave him a 7. I don't know if it was a 6 or a 7. I'll start with 7 and see what you guys think. I have 6/7. I never do that, but for this reason, my gut feeling was telling me something. Zach Williams, I gave him a 1. I gave him a 1 out of 10. Had a really, really good, fruitful chat with Paul Barbaza on the Blue Abroad show last night. And listen, for me, in these play ratings, and again, I'll start the discussion here and you guys can finish it off in the comments. That performance can not only not be accepted, it can never happen again. Ever. It can never, ever happen again. He is a marquee signing. He is a marquee player. He is on marquee money. And I'm sorry, but how can we not talk about the contract relative to a player's expectation from the fans and from the club? If the administrators are not eyeballing him when he walks past the club, and if he doesn't walk into the club this week every morning with a look of shame on his face, then something's wrong. He copped a knock, apparently, according to David Teague. He copped a knock, or he's sore. If he's that sore that he's giving us 9 possessions the way he played, then he shouldn't play. It's hurting the team. We're all saying this week, Sard, Levi, Cripps, and Williams were all injured. All of a sudden, they're injured again. They're sore again. So we're carrying 4 blokes. So many of our players played well, and our star names, our star recruits, our star names, Cripps, Sard, and Williams, didn't come to the party. I couldn't believe what Zach Williams did in round 8. I couldn't believe what I was watching. He had no ability to impact the contest. He had one beautiful kick to Levi, it might have been, from about 60, and it was a bullet into the 50, and I was like, wow, there he is. I'm sorry, but all I saw from him in the preseason was Balenciaga, Chivas Regal, and, the real Melbourne lifestyle. Well, there's a fucking reality to playing at this football club. There's a fucking reality, and there's a job. And I hope somebody is giving him the serious treatment. I hope he isn't walking into the club and it's okay. There's got to be some sort of level of fear that's put into him for shit. I better not do that again. We've got to nip it in the bud right now. It's his 5th game for the club. I understand. We need to give him time. All of that. But, mate. He for me needs to be in our best 5 to 6 players every week. Non-negotiable. We didn't pay for a marquee signing to come to develop. Why would we do that? We need instant impact. We needed an extra layer of class in the midfield to help Cripps and Walsh and allow us to go to the next level. We got smacked at the centre clearances. He is a centre clearance guy that we're looking to add to this mix. He was a non-factor. I'm baffled by the inability for anyone to want to criticise him. If Paddy Dow plays a game and has 9 possessions, the fans crucify him on Facebook, everywhere on social media. He gets crucified. This guy's on 750, 850, whatever. He's a marquee signing and he had 9 possessions. The fuck out of here, mate. What the fuck was that? What was that? Seriously, what was that? It is a privilege to play for this club. It's a privilege. And that was not good enough and not acceptable. And if he's injured, then fucking come out and say it. Seriously. Sorry to be so animated, but we're 3-5, mate. Like, the season is slipping away. What are we fucking waiting for here? The class is all there. William, Sard, Cripps, Walsh, Wiedering, Mackay. There's plenty of good names in this team that lost the game on the weekend, and Williams didn't bring himself to the party. I'm sick and tired of these players coming to this football club and not performing, and then getting pandered by the fans. Like, oh, mate, the time is now. The time is now. What are we waiting for? He is in the prime of his career. He wanted this limelight. He wanted more opportunity. He wanted to come to his childhood club and perform. I don't see a guy desperate. It's funny. It happens in world sport all the time. You get your big contract and then your hunger just isn't there. Hasn't been a good start for Zach Williams. Do I believe in him? Yes, I do. Do I think he plays with the desperation and hunger that is required to play for the Carlton Football Club as a marquee player? No, I don't. That's got to change. 1 out of 10. Luke Parks, Ed Curnow, Gibbons and Owies. Parksy was okay. I thought he contested very well. I gave him a bare pass mark. Curnow wills himself, keeps going. Typical Ed Curnow. We say it every week. If Zach Williams and Cripps and all these other big boy names with their big boy contracts had the same mentality and desperation and gratitude for their position as what Ed Curnow does, we'd be a much better side. Loved his game. Gave him an 8 out of 10. Gibbo, struggling. He had a few good moments. Something's happening. Something's happened. Is he changing his role? Is he being shifted around? I don't know. His last few weeks haven't been very good ever since that head knock. I think he's been a little off. I don't know. I gave him a 4 out of 10 for his game. I still believe in him. I still love what he brings, but he's in a position where 2 to 3 off games and he's out of the side. That's just kind of where he is at the moment. I'd almost prefer to have Mark Murphy playing at the moment if Gibbo's going to be giving us that. So we need more, need that hunger, need that attack on the man, need that tackle pressure that he's so good at. And I need to see it again. So gave him a 4, but I do love Gibbo. Always love him. He continued on. I was a little worried that after the Essendon game there'd be a bit of a dip. He did his job, kicked his couple. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I like his body positioning. I like his just, ground positioning. So I gave him a 6. Samo, very hard. I don't know if I can give him a rating. He didn't come on with, a lot of the game to go. He had a couple of possessions. I might just not rate him because it's not fair on him. Or maybe I just give him a pass mark by virtue of the fact that he just took the field. So those are my player ratings. It's like I said, what are we waiting for? It's time to go. It's go time. This team is good enough. This list is good enough. The players available are good enough. It's really just TDK, Fisher, Martin that are missing, that are going to be significantly better for us. Newman, we don't know yet. He still needs time. He's very underdone. Charlie, I don't know yet. I'm sick and tired of hearing about the excuses. I don't give them excuses anymore. They are now men. They are now very, very capable. I look at all these names like they're so capable. We bottled it. We go again against Melbourne. Hopefully it's better. I love this footy club more than anything in the world. And I just want them to be better. That's really what it is. It all comes from a place of love. It really does. It's frustrating. I believe in this group. Oh, I sound like David Teague. Oh my God, I sound like David Teague. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's chat about it some more. And then we'll move on to next week. Go the Mighty Blues.